It became clear that Liam's comments were no longer just condescending, they were inappropriate. Every time he passed her in the hallways, his gaze would linger on her, not just with disdain, but with something darker, something unsettling. One morning, as Ella was cleaning the floor outside Liam's office, he walked by. He stopped abruptly, eyeing her from head to toe. His smile was arrogant, and there was something in his eyes that made Ella's skin crawl. "Hey Ella," he said, his voice dripping with mock sweetness, "you know, you could clean this place a bit better, especially when you're around someone as attractive as me." Ella froze, shocked by the suggestiveness in his tone. But Liam wasn't finished. He leaned in closer, his eyes locking onto hers with a predatory look. "You know," he continued, his voice dropping to a whisper, "someone as pretty as you shouldn't be stuck cleaning. I could make sure you get a better position, here a more fitting one if you just cooperate." Ella's heart raced. For a moment, she felt a wave of anger and humiliation wash over her. But she held her ground, her face calm, her voice firm. "I'm happy with my job, thank you," she said, her voice unwavering despite the storm of emotions inside. Liam, still smirking, patted her on the shoulder in what felt like an act of ownership rather than kindness. It was the final straw. Ella knew she couldn't tolerate this any longer, but she also knew that the time for confrontation hadn't arrived yet. She had to wait for the right moment when she could strike back with the power that would leave Liam and the rest of the company in shock. The day came sooner than Ella expected. One evening, after she had finished cleaning the executive floors, she was preparing to leave the building when she encountered Liam in the parking garage. He blocked her path, standing too close, his expression shifting from casual to something far more unsettling. His words were low, almost predatory. "You've been working so hard lately," Liam said, his voice dripping with condescension. "I've been thinking maybe you deserve something more than this cleaning job. There's a place for you here if you're just a little more cooperative." Ella's stomach churned with disgust, but she stood her ground. This was the moment she had been waiting for, the moment to take back control. The moment to show Liam and the entire company who she really was. She met his gaze, her voice steady but cold. "Liam, if you keep this up, you'll regret it." His face twisted in confusion, disbelief spreading across his features. "What are you talking about?" Ella interrupted him, her voice unwavering. "You've crossed the line. And if you try this again, I'll make sure you never step foot in this building again." For a moment, Liam's confidence faltered. But Ella knew this was only the beginning. She had made her move. The time for patience was over. The next morning, Ella walked into the office dressed in a tailored suit. Gone was the humble janitor in the navy blue uniform. In her place stood the CEO of Greenwood and Associates. Her hair was neatly styled, her posture exuded confidence, and as she passed through the lobby, the same employees who had once ignored her now stared in awe. Liam and Monica, sitting in the boardroom preparing for a meeting, didn't recognize her at first, but as she walked to the head of the table and stood beside her cousin Luke, their faces drained of color. "This is Ella Turner," Luke announced proudly, "the founder and owner of Greenwood and Associates." Liam's confusion quickly turned to disbelief. He stammered, You're the janitor." Ella met his stunned gaze. "Yes, Liam, I've been working undercover as a cleaner, observing everything. And what I found was disturbing." She told him everything, how he had harassed her, mistreated employees, and abused his power. "You failed to uphold the values this company was built on," she said, her voice steady but filled with authority. Liam, his arrogance shattered, took a step back. You can't do this. I'm the CEO." "Not anymore," Ella replied, her tone final. "Effective immediately. You're fired. Legal action will follow." Liam's confidence crumbled in an instant. and he was escorted out of the building, his sense of power vanishing with each step. Ella turned to the remaining members of the management team. For those of you who have acted with integrity, your jobs are secure. But for those who have contributed to this toxic culture, there will be consequences. Several managers were dismissed on the spot, their arrogance fading away as security escorted them out. Ella then addressed the remaining staff, her voice firm and filled with resolve. Greenwood and Associates will now be a place of respect, innovation, and integrity. This is the company I built, and it will thrive again under the right leadership. Under Ella's leadership, the company began to change. The toxic culture that had taken root was eradicated, replaced by an environment of respect, fairness, and opportunity. Employees who had once ignored Ella now looked up to her with admiration and respect. The company, under her guidance, began to flourish once again. As Ella sat in her office, reflecting on the journey she had just undertaken, she knew the road ahead would be long and challenging. But for the first time in years, she felt truly in control. The storm had passed, and now Greenwood and Associates would thrive this time not just because of its profits, but because it was built on the right values. Karma, Ella thought with a wry smile, always finds its way back.